Magandang gabi sa ating mga resource persons, and of course, salamat. Thank you for sharing your time and expertise with us. So, Mr. Chair, I had wanted to propound questions to the Ibon Foundation. Kaya nga lang po ay wala po siya ngayon, si Mr. Sunny Africa. So, instead, I would like to ask questions to our NEDA representative, Ms. Yusek Adilion. So, kahapon, Yusek Adilion, nung nag-present ang Ibon Foundation, ang una niyang sinabi ay the Philippines is now among the least restrictive economies to foreign investment in the region. Yan ang kanyang first slide. Na ikinagulat ko kasi yan ang dahilan kung bakit tayo nandito ngayon. We are amending the restrictive economic provisions of the Constitution. So paulit-ulit natin sinasabi yon, restrictive economic provisions of the Constitution. At marami na tayong nakita mga pag-aaral at laging nababanggit ang OECD Restrictiveness Index na nakikita natin sa maraming mga pag-aaral. So, what is your take on that particular slide? And if we may flash that slide again, can we pull up that slide? Yung pinakita ng ni Mr. Sunny Africa kahapon. So, if you recall, meron siyang
Next po ba?
that's not what that's if we may refer to the, ang hirap kasi wala siya. But if we may refer to the slide of Ibon Foundation, the first slide, kung pwede po sana natin ipakita. Yan ang difficulty kung hindi dumadating ang ating resource person. Ayan. So ito ang slide ng Ibon Foundation. At kung nakikita natin, yung first row, so yung may Philippine flag, kung nakikita natin, puro green. So ibig sabihin, open daw. So lumalabas na maraming sectors na green. So Yusek Adilion, what's your take on this?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We actually looked at this one and then looked at the basic data, yung basic study na from where this was taken. And if you look at the OECD study, then it actually lists the Philippines as the parang 182, tama ba? Rank one, third from the bottom na pinaka restrictive in the world.
So parang, ang sa akin kasi parang ang lumalabas, parang tila nagkaroon ng cherry picking, parang namili ng sectors na bukas na anyway. Halimbawa, may telcos, merong retail trade, merong tourism, merong healthcare, merong power. At ito namang sectors na to, halimbawa power sector, railway, airports, etc. Yan naman ay bukas dahil during the 18th Congress, kung naalala ninyo, inamyendahan natin ang Public Services Act. Tama po ba? So talagang aasahan talaga natin na bukas talaga siya. Pero kung titignan natin ay maraming mga sectors ang left out dito sa listing ng Ibon Foundation. Tama po ba?
Tama po. In particular, yung mga sector na gusto pa natin buksan.
Tama. Tulad ng education and advertising. So kung inilagay natin ang mga sectors na yan, ay obviously hindi magiging tama ang conclusion na least restrictive ang Philippine economy.
Yes, tama po.
Okay. And more importantly, ang OECD Restrictiveness Index, is that a robust index?
Mr. Chair, it actually has 4 components to it. So yung first one is the foreign equity restrictions. The second one is restriction with respect to employment of foreign nationals. The third one is with respect to procedures, mga protocols, yan. And the fourth one is yung operational, kung gaano kalaki per plant, yung mga ganun. Yung dati nating RTLA, ganun siya. So yung apat na yon. Pero it's being used actually by many foreign investors in trying to decide kung, at saka yung it's really a basis of information for them how restrictive a country is.
Okay. And if the Secretariat can put up my slides, ito naman, yung slides ko na, please. Yung unang nilagay ninyo, yung may pie chart. At ito naman ang aking natuklasan. So, nung ginamit natin ang, actually, this is Roocher. Salamat ako kay Mr. Lacasa na staff natin sa CPBRD. Pinagdikit ko ang kanyang dalawang graph at ginamit ni Mr. Lacasa ang OECD Restrictiveness Index at pinagdikit ko to para mapakita natin kung gaano ka ganda o gaano ka robust yung OECD Restrictiveness Index. Kasi kitang-kita natin dito. So for the Philippines, pinapakita niya. So ibig sabihin yan, kung mahaba yung bar, ibig sabihin nun, restrictive yung sector na yan. So halimbawa, for the Philippines, mahaba ang bar ng mining, mahaba ang bar ng media, mahaba ang bar ng business services, mahaba ang bar ng telcos. Ibig sabihin nun, restrictive ang sectors na yon for the Philippines. But on the other hand, maikse ang bar ng manufacturing, maikse ang bar ng financial services. Ibig sabihin nun, hindi restrictive or bukas ang sectors na yan para sa Pilipinas. So, kung bukas ang sectors na yan, aasahan natin na maraming pumapasok na foreign direct investments sa mga sectors na yan. So kung titignan natin ang pie chart, yung pie chart na yan, ang minimeasure ng pie chart na yan ay ang FDIs na pumapasok sa Pilipinas by sector. So makikita natin, indeed, dahil malaki ang slice para sa manufacturing at financial services, ibig sabihin nun, hindi dapat tayo magtaka na dahil bukas ang manufacturing sector at bukas ang financial services sector, nakakakuha ito ng mga maraming FDIs. So ganun kaganda ang OECD Restrictiveness Index. So would you agree with me, Yusek Edilion, na yan na talaga ang gamitin natin na index?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
Okay, so at least nag-agree tayo na wag tayo dapat mag-cherry pick katulad ng ginawa ng Ibon Foundation. At pasensya na lang, Mr. Sunny Africa, wala po kayo dito ngayon. Sana magandang mapakinggan kung bakit yun ang ginawa niya dito. So let me go to my next point. which is the second slide of Mr. Africa. So, pasensya na sa Secretariat. Magja-jump ulit tayo sa second slide ng Ibon Foundation, which has to do with the growth of foreign investment over the years. At ang punto ni Mr. Africa is, bakit pa natin pinagkakaabalahan itong napakahirap na Econ Chacha? Kitang-kita naman natin, hirap na hirap tayo. Pinagdedebatihan natin ito in both chambers. Ang haba-haba ng ating debate. Ilang oras na kayong nakaupo dyan? Nag-aaway-away tayo sa ilang modes ba dapat ang gagamitin natin sa pag-amyenda. Napakahirap na gawain ito. Bakit ba natin kailangan gawin ito? Pero, ang sabi ni Mr. Africa, tignan mo naman, tumataas naman ang ating FDI over the years in terms of FDI flows and in terms of FDI stock. Baka naman, Yusek Edilion, you are a statistician and an economist. Napakabihirang kombinasyon. Pwede niyo bang ipaliwanag sa amin ano bang pagkakaiba ng FDI flows at FDI stock?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The FDI flows, this is actually net FDI flows. So, yung pumapasok minus yung lumalabas. So, yung mga pumapasok sa atin, there would be equity inflows, and also kapag halimbawa yung mother company nagpautang sa kanyang subsidiary dito, that will be counted as inflow. Meanwhile, meron ding reinvested earnings. So, nagstay lang naman dito yon. And then yung lumabas is repatriated na earnings, and then yung mga nag-withdraw mismo. Yung binawasan na nila yung branches nila siguro, or nagsara altogether. So, this one is actually very, very, what we call a noisy data. It's very time-sensitive. Kasi depende kung yung mother company nagkaroon ng problema. We have seen that happen in some companies dito, di ba? So pwedeng magkaroon ng biglang dadaming repatriated earnings, pero the next year babalik na naman dito. Yun. So pwedeng ganoon. So we don't really look at it will not be good to look at flows, and then you want to correlate it with something that is parang a stock. So dapat talaga yung stock ang tinitingnan mo, which actually will also establish the trend for you. So yun ang mas stable na series, kumbaga.
So ibig sabihin, FDI stock is yung binibilang mo yung pagpasok ng kapital, yung total nun by the end of the year. Tama ba yun?
Yung as of.
Yung as of
the
a
end of the
certain
year.
time, which typically is by the end of the year.
Yes.
Okay, so in short, ang titignan natin is FDI stock. Okay, so pwede ba natin tignan ulit? So ang tinitignan natin is yung lower graph. Okay, so ang sabi ni Mr. Africa, ayan, tumataas naman ang FDI stock. Okay, so bakit pa natin ito ginagawa? Hindi na natin kailangan paluwagin. Hindi na natin kailangan ng flexibility dito sa ating constitution. Okay, so ano ang sagot dito, Yusek Edilion? Is this a correct perspective?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor. Actually, two things po dito. Number one, totoo naman na tumataas, and I would say that that actually is a product of the liberalization efforts that we have done in the 90s and then in the 2000s. Yun. Kaya tumaas. It really will take some time. Pero kung ang titingnan naman po natin ay i-compare natin naman sa ating neighbors, For instance, whereas, kunwari Vietnam na lang, kasi halos magkapareho tayo nung unang panahon ng Vietnam. So, whereas I think it was 1990, no, nasa mga 3.2 billion tayo, ang Vietnam nasa 200 or 300 million na FDI stock. And then fast forward to 2022, Philippines would have 112 billion US in terms of FDI stock, whereas Vietnam would have 210. So, pwede pa pala na mas malaki pa ang naging increase natin sa FDI had we gone, mas naging aggressive tayo sa pag-attract nito mga FDI.
Okay, so in short, siguro maganda na ipakita ko na lang yung isa pang slide na sa Secretariat. Pwede bang, can you put up my slide? The second slide. Ayan. Baka mas magandang ipakita ito. So yung blue slide, yung blue line is exactly the line that Mr. Africa showed in his graph. Tama ba, Yusek Adilion?
Yes, Your Honor.
So tama naman. Ito yung FDI stock. Pataas nga. Kaya lang, hindi niya pinakita na relative to our neighbors in the ASEAN, tayo ang pinakamababa. Iwan na iwan tayo. Relative to Vietnam, which is the orange line, Thailand, which is the gray line, Indonesia, which is the yellow line. So yon ang very important fact na hindi pinakita. So tumataas nga ang problema, iniwan na tayo. Iniwan na tayo ng ating neighbors. Ang problema, the name of the game is competition. Tama ba, Yusek Adilion?
Yes, Your Honor.
So yun ang dahilan kung bakit natin ito ginagawa. Tama ba?
Yes, Papa.
So, kailangan ba natin gawin ang e-conchacha ngayon? Yusek Adilion.
Ano yung tanong ulit?
Do we need to do e-conchacha today?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Kasi kung hindi natin ito ginawa today, lalo tayo maiiwan. So I will end there. Mr. Chair, marami pa akong tanong. Can I be listed for the second round, Mr. Chair?
Thank you very much,
Mr. Chair,
Congresswoman Stella.
Mr. Chair,
Majority Leader. Yes,
just
Congresswoman
an intervention, Mr. Chair.
What is
Doon
your pleasure?
Yeah. As regards to the last graph po na pinakita na ating colleague, as regards to yung iwan na tayo ng mga Vietnam, Thailand, etc. So, may tanong lang po ako sa intervention, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chair.
Majority
Mr.
Leader.
Chair, may we request the Secretariat to flash the last slide? Okay, so Mr. Chair, if
Yeah. So, Mr. Chair, so ang pinapakita dyan yung inward
Wait,
of...
Congresswoman Castro, would you want to interpolate? Is that what?
Yeah, intervention lang po doon sa...
So you want to make a point of clarification
Yes,
on the
clarification lang po doon sa NEDA.
slide? Okay, you may proceed.
Yeah, kasi yung pinapakita po dyan yung inward FDI stocks, no? At sinasabi ng ating na NEDA na nagko-confirm siya sa ating colleague, si Representative Stella Kimbo, na talagang iwan na tayo talaga in terms of inward of FDI stocks. So ano ba yung implication nito? So that does say nung graph na ito na in relation to restrictiveness. Yun ang contention dito, no? Yung pagiging restrictive ba ng ating constitution ang dahilan kung bakit ganyan or meron pang ibang factor. So yun naman. So paano ba nakukuha yung inward FDI stocks? Iba-ibang factors.
Mr.
So
Chair.
tanong natin kung may pag-aaral ba kayo tungkol
Mr. Chair.
dyan, Mr. Speaker, ang NEDA as regards to that. So bakit tayo nagkaganyan?
So, Mr.
ang may
Chairman,
kasalanan ba talaga
may
yung
request
constitution natin
NEDA
na
to-
very restrictive?
Mr. Chair,
Yun po, Mr. Speaker.
Mr.
Yes.
Chair,
Mr. Chair,
that was actually my next question, but because my time is up, I asked to be listed in the second round. So if I could actually pursue that line of questioning, if I could, but in the second
No,
round. Otherwise, if you would give me
Insofar
additional
as
minutes.
yeah. Anyway, insofar as the question was directed to you in a slide that you presented, I will allow you to answer and enlighten the
Mr.
question.
Chair, Mr.
Mr. Chair,
with
mukhang
record-
Mr.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Okay.
Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
Congresswoman Castro, wait. Yeah, Majority
Yeah,
Leader.
Mr. Chair, if I may, the current status is that it was the time of the Honorable Stella Kimbo, and there were actually follow-up questions. And I believe the next question that the Honorable Stella Kimbo wanted to put forward was brought up by the Honorable Franz Castro. With this, Mr. Chair, may I move that the representative from NEDA be allowed to answer the question of the Honorable Franz Castro. And Mr. Chair, in addition to that we'll move at the proper time, maybe you can give the Honorable Stella Kimbo an extension of 2 minutes.
Okay. So you may proceed.
NEDA muna.
We'll have Neda first, and then Majority Leader, if it's okay with our members, we'll give Congresswoman Stella Kimbo a few minutes to also give her reply.
Yeah, we don't have any objections, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Neda?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, meron pong naging study dyan. We looked at, there is a multi-country study. So this is also done by OECD. Tapos tiningnan nila dito, they looked at other variables. Yung sinasabi nyo, maraming other factors, no? Ease of doing business, nandyan din yung governance, nandyan din yung tinatawag dito gravity model, eh. Kung gaano kakalapit si host country at saka si source, no? Si source and destination country, naging colony ba siya, magkapareho ba sila ng lingwahe, in terms of human capital, all this, even the infrastructure is also included. But the results would say, and this is very robust, that even controlling for these factors, yung impact on restrictiveness is statistically significant and it's negative. Tapos, like I said kanina, 4 yung components, no, ng restrictiveness index. Kapag ang kinonsider mo lang is the equity restrictions, that also comes out as negative and statistically significant. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So,
Thank you very much, Neda. Congresswoman Kimbo?
Yes. So just to tie it up with the Iban Foundation slide, because I believe that Kong Francis' question, I believe, stems from a slide which came from the Iban Foundation presentation. And if I may, can we refer to that slide, which says reducing restrictiveness doesn't even guarantee foreign investment? And if we can put up that slide, because I believe that dun kasi nanggagaling eh, dun humuhugot talaga si Mr. Sonny Africa. Sinasabi niya, wala naman talagang connection yung pag-iis ng restrictiveness sa pagtaas ng FDIs. Ang sinasabi niya, walang correlation yan, walang relasyon. Pag nirelax ninyo ang equity restrictions, wala yan kinalaman sa pagtaas ng FDI. So, ang tanong ko kay Yusek Edilion, wala ba talaga? So, which is a follow-up question, di ba? Wala ba talaga? So, ang sabi ni Yusek Edilion, actually merong isang paper by Fernando Mistura and Caroline Roulet. It's a 2019 paper entitled The Determinants of Foreign Direct Investment, Do Statutory Restrictions Matter? And in this paper, it covers 60 countries. So, Yusek Edilion, dito sa paper na to, sakop ba ang Pilipinas? Kasama ba ang Philippines sa study na to?
Yes, Your Honor.
You are a statistician, tama?
Apa.
You have a PhD in statistics, tama?
Economics po.
Economics.
A Master of Science degree in Statistics.
Okay.
Kong Stella, can we wrap this up?
Yes. So, with your expertise, masasabi mo na robust ang evidence dito.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, may relationship ang pagbaba ng equity restrictions at pagtaas ng FDI investments.
Yes, that's correct.
And in addition, kahapon, narinig ninyo ang statement ni Ms. Hazel Percon at ni Mr. Rucher Lacaba. Tama?
Yes.
And ano ang sinabi nila? Yung findings ba ng studies nila, do they corroborate the findings of Ms. Tura and Rule?
Yes, essentially.
So all three studies would indicate that may relationship ang pag-ease ng restrictions sa pagtaas ng FDI investments. Tama ba?
That's correct, yeah.
So would you agree with me that, again, yung slide na to sa Ibon Foundation presentation is not accurate. It is not accurate to say that foreign investment restrictions would be weakly correlated with foreign investment flows.
Yes, Your Honor. I think it boils down to the fact that they were trying to illustrate in just one page, two-dimensional, yung katakot-takot na other factors involved. So, ang dapat kasi talaga, you use statistical technique para i-keep constant po yung other factors and just change yung restrictions. And that is what the multivariate statistics would do.
So, Mr. Chair, that's my last question, but I need to go on a second round so I can ask questions to Ms. Hazel Percon. So,
Yes.
hindi na siya babalik tomorrow.
We will
Thank you,
definitely
Mr.
give you
Chair.
more time on the second round. Thank you
you.
so much. Majority Leader.
Mr. Chairman,
Congressman Lagman, yes?
Just a short intervention. In these studies, USEC, is there any statement that in a scale of 1 to 10, what would be the correlation of constitutional restrictive provisions to the entry of foreign direct investments?
Sure. There is actually a very expressed statement in the article that says that of the four restrictiveness components, it's actually the statutory restriction, which is the constitutional restriction, that negatively affects the most yung FDI.
When you say the most in a scale of 1 to 10, where does it point to?
Right? Well, the restrict kung yung apat ang i-rank?
No. The restrictive constitutional provisions, what is its correlation to the entry of direct foreign investment if you have a scale of 1 to 10? And there is no study yet on that.
Minus 0.28 eh. The elasticity is a minus 0.28. So, ibig sabihin, if you are able to, naka-index siya, no? So if you are able to relax by, let's say, 10 percentage points, then tataas ang foreign direct investments by 2.8%.
Because there are other determinants
That's
of
right.
direct
Yes.
of foreign direct investments. As we have said previously, ease of doing business, where we are lagging. Then the corruption index, official corruption, again, we are lagging behind. Then in the stability of government policies, again, we are not scoring well. Also in the infrastructure support investments, as well as the speed of the internet and the cost of power. So there are so many determinants. And I am just asking whether these other determinants could induce more investments if properly addressed, even if we do not amend the Constitution.
Please proceed.
Mr. Chair. Yeah. The thing is, if there's a statutory restriction, then that's the first, that's the first, kumbaga, gate or that's the first barrier na eh. So kung close na siya kaagad by statutory, restrictions, hindi na rin the other factors